Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, January 4. With 85% of all homicides in Jamaica committed using an illegal firearm, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says a new firearms bill will be brought to Parliament early this year. Mr. Holness says the bill will ensure that the highest possible consequence and deterrence are provided for the acquisition, dealing, possession or use of an illegal firearm.
Possessing an illegal weapon increases the means and likelihood of the possessor escalating to committing murder or other serious crimes. All Jamaicans should speak with one voice against the illegal possession of firearms.
Mr. Holness was addressing the nation during his New Year's Day message. He says government will also be expanding the use of zones of special operation to control crime and homicides in selected communities.
The Enhanced Security Measures Bill is being refined and should be brought to Parliament in the next financial year. This will further augment the crime-fighting powers of the police. In the interim, the JDF and the JCF will continue to deploy strategically as best as possible with its resources in static and dynamic operations to secure affected communities.
Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Bellevue Hospital will be transformed to offer better care and help remove the stigma from mental health treatment. He was speaking recently at an appreciation ceremony for clients at the Windward Road Kingston facility.
We are going to transform this institution in an institution that we all as a society should be proud of. That because the symbolism around this institution mustn't be that we must avoid it. It must be a source of pride that we have taken time to provide the support that is a majority requirement for so many people in the country. So it means reforming this institution, looking at the compound, looking at the surroundings, looking at community-based support and treatment.
Pointing out that mental challenges affect more persons than is widely known, Dr. Tufton says too many people suffer in silence because they're ashamed to get treatment for fear of stigmatization. Declaring that the negative thinking around mental health must be broken, he says the team at his ministry will be leading the charge to mainstream the importance of mental illness support.
One of the things that we are going to have to do, and we have started to do, and this is grounded in research, the Mental Health and Homelessness Task Force report, which was done back in 2016 and now has a program that we're working on, is to mainstream and destigmatize, mash down the impressions around mental health as if somehow it is a curse only to be identified with some people.
Meanwhile, Jamaicans experiencing trauma associated with the loss of loved ones due to COVID-19, violence or traffic crashes, among other factors, are being urged to get professional help with the grieving process. Consultant psychiatrist Dr. Jeffrey Walcott made the appeal on JIS's current affairs program, Get the Facts. He says while the process has no specific timeline, if grieving begins to impact one's day-to-day function or inability to carry out their responsibilities, this would be the sign to get help.
In essence, the process should not be impacting your functionality for greater than probably a 2 or 3 week period. And if it continues to impact your functionality beyond that point, you will need assistance to maneuver the channels of grieving that you're going through and to actually help you.
Persons who are going through grief or any form of mental health issues can access care at any public or private health facilities. These include hospitals, health centers, doctors' offices, or the Ministry of Health and Wellness's mental health hotline. The number is 888-NEW-LIFE. That is 888-639-5433.
The concept of getting mental health help is not something that you would think of having to do with a hospital or a hospital bed, but it can be done anywhere. And so we have to move our thoughts out of that restrictive setting and then move our thoughts out of what we think it is. It is not something that is forced on you. It is something that is done to help you based on what your needs are, and we work with you.
In other news, the Mines and Geology Division will soon have access to a mineral X-ray and poke and dish grinder machine to assist with grinding earth minerals. The equipment is a donation of Geophysics Jamaica Limited, which is licensed by the Mining Ministry and the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA to explore copper, zinc, gold and other minerals. Speaking recently at a geophysics press conference, Mining Minister Robert Montague said acquiring the equipment was necessary because of the nation's strong emerging semi-precious stone jewelry-making industry.
So those equipment is a little bit over $50,000 in value. That they are currently in Florida, and the ministry will have to make some arrangement to get them here.
The Mines and Geology Division has the responsibility under the Mining Act and the Quarries Control Act to supervise all mining and quarrying operations throughout the island. And finally, Transport Minister Robert Montague says a drive is on to get more Jamaicans trained locally for the airline industry, particularly pilots. Minister Montague says approximately 3,000 Jamaicans are in the United States doing pilot training, and he hopes to increase the number of pilots being trained on the island. He was speaking recently on a tour of the Tinson Pen-based Aeronautical School of the West Indies.
When you look at the comparative cost, it's a lot cheaper to be trained in Jamaica. You start at an earlier age, and Jamaica has the reputation of producing world-class pilots.
The minister says the Aeronautical School of the West Indies was recently certified by the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, and 2 other institutions are going through the process of certification to increase the local training capacity. He adds that the Airports Authority of Jamaica AAJ will be offering scholarships this year to persons living close to aerodromes to further expand the nation's aviation industry. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.